Mm, mm, mm. What God has for me, it is for me. What God has for me, it is for me. I know without a doubt that He will bring me out. What God has for me, it is for me. It is for me. It is for me. What's up, Vita? Vita, I got the email, girl. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you tonight, girl. Well, God, but you know what I'm gonna tell you? Has for me, it is for me. I know without a doubt that God will bring me out. What God has for me, it is for me. What's up, China? What's up, Miss Mama G? What's up, Vita? Vita, I'm gonna reach out to you, girl. I got the email. Um, hey. You know, we had a really good conversation before I had to leave, and we'll continue on that. But do right by people, and hopefully, we can't say they will always do right by you, but hopefully, people will do right by you. This is why I don't get mad when people talk about me. You know why? Because I talk about people. Be willing to take what you're giving out. Now, I don't dox people. I don't do all of that crazy stuff because, again, it is not my desire that anybody lose a job or that anyone income is affected. So I don't do those things. So you never hear me calling people's jobs or doing anything that will be destructive, to be honest. So I just don't do that. That's just me. But just know what you put out there, you're going to get back. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be in a week's time. It may take years, but it's coming back. So all I'm saying is, it's not important to you until it happens to you. And we should all be appalled by doxing and all of this stuff. And as much as I don't have a problem with ladies, it is never good to for putting it up was not right. And that's what I tell people. It is not right. So you didn't put that up there just to know. You put that up there with the hope that somebody would do what you didn't want to do. Because let me tell you something, Lady Dimples, you know better. You know better. I believe that you were raised in church, and I know you know better. And I believe that you didn't want to do it. I just believe that you so somebody else would do it. And so that's how I feel about that, to be honest. But again, I can't tell King Roman how to feel either. Because if he cuts you out, he has every right to do that. But I think there are better ways to handle these things. Damn any mind. I just keep it moving because people want to get you off of what a lot of this is invoked fear on people because it's about control. And so you see this a lot, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah. But what else is going on, you all? Yeah. Smart show. I believe in that. I believe in that. You just can't keep doing this type of stuff and don't think that it's gonna pile up and work its way to you. And this is what I always say: You know, um, if I have a camera slip, which I have had, it is what it is. But if you have a camera slip, I'm gonna talk about it. You know why? Because I talk about people's camera slips. It's just that. No need to, you know. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I think you really have to, Pastor Nate. But again, I think you just have to be these people. They don't have anything to lose, and people who have nothing to lose will cause you to lose everything. And I know people were like, "Well, Jay, you've been on," and so on and so forth. But the things that have adversely affect me have always been side hustles that I've done, not my ultimate job. Always side hustles. So it's never been an issue with me. But don't think that people are trying to take folk down. And I can't speak for everyone, but that's not a baby. I'm not trying to take nobody's job. That's no, absolutely not. Especially black folk, especially black people. I'm not trying to do that. But everybody is different. Everybody is different. So, and another thing I don't do is I don't hate people. There are some people with some real hate and disgust for people in their life, and I just think that that's a problem too. Yeah, yeah, China, I do too. But let me say this, y'all. If I start hating people, it's time for me to leave these YouTube streets. And I mean that. It's no one here that's going to have me to hate. Let me say this. You may speak hate, you may try to denigrate and diminish, but I'm not going to hate you. I may not like the things that you do, but I'm not going to hate you. Not because, only because I am a person who believes in the book in its context. And notice I said in its context, but I'm also a person that believes that stuff causes like a cancer, and it holds you back. It holds you back. You can't move forward holding stuff and hating. You can't. And let me say this: the future is always gonna move on, with or without you. Now, you remember the past, so you can go into the future with a better outlook. But baby, the future is always gonna move on, whether you're ready or not. The future is gonna move on. And I just believe that you really can't move on with your future always hating people, because I'm gonna tell you, you can sit here and hate me all you want to. I'm gonna love you with the love of Christ, and I'm gonna keep on moving, because your hate for me doesn't stop what I'm going to do. And it seems like the more you hate, the better people do. You seem to be even more angrier and upset. Hatred causes bitterness, it causes envy, it causes jealousy. You can't be happy for a person that does well. It'll have you questioning, I don't understand why this person can be this way, but yet they seem like they reap all the benefits, but this is what I get. It starts to make you compare, and this is why hate is not good. This is why I don't hate folk. I am not envious of people. Baby, if you get a new car, I'm celebrating that you got a new car. Now, I may be a little shady, but I'm definitely not hating. I mean, life is too long. We say life is too short, but no, life is too long to be really having and harboring bitterness and hatred and jealousy and envy. Now, again, these YouTube streets are YouTube streets. And I think people don't know how to balance YouTube as far as the show as their real life and with their real life. And I think that always becomes a problem, because people try to intermix YouTube with their real life, and it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And a lot of the people you see doing the most damage and doing the most egregious things on YouTube, YouTube is all they have, or close to all they have. And that's the truth. Because you always got to do something to top what you did the next time, until it gets you to the point where you're almost breaking the law if you're not breaking the law. It will. It will. It will. What's up, Bonnie Truitt? It will. It will adversely. I mean, really, it will. So I'm saying this not to put anybody down, but I really don't hate folk. And really, when this cut off, it's off. It's off. This is why I can't tell y'all everything that's going on in this YouTube beefing sector, because I've made up in my mind I'm not spending all this time running down videos. Now, if there's a video that stands out, I will. If there's something that stands out to me, I will talk about it. But for me going on everybody's channel and no, no, got too much time to do other things besides that. So yeah, but you all, we did end up with corporal punishment, and a lot of people felt that it wasn't necessary in this day and time. I don't feel. I think we need to do it another way. I think that the mindsets of parents have changed. I think the younger the parents are, in some cases, somebody lost it along the way. But and some people don't have to be punished. You know, some people can get talked to, but I just think that it should be up to the parent to decide. And you know, I think that there is a limit. I don't think it should be the first line of defense. I think it should be the last. So those are my thoughts with that. You know, but I will say that you know, everybody has their opinion on it, and yeah. So those are my thoughts. And let me say this was really interesting too. I would not want to be a social worker in this day and age because it's very hard. In Texas, y'all, it got so bad that children were staying in the offices. They were getting hotel rooms for children. It was bad because, again, the foster care system, they don't have enough foster parents. They don't. They don't have enough foster parents. And then you got to even scan the foster parents to see if they are fit to even foster kids. So I think it's a really catch-22. You know, you take the kids out of the home, which some kids really need to be out of the home. They really do. But you take the kids out of the home, and they're no better in foster care. They may be in more danger in foster care. In some states, they may be in danger. So I think that, you know, we got to really think things over. And I understand some people do not believe in the corporal punishment. I believe that, you know, abuse and neglect is really not good for kids. But I do believe that there needs to be structure. There needs to be some form of discipline. And I just think that that plays a major role as well. Mia S said that's her profession. Yeah, and you know what, y'all? It's hard. You don't have enough qualified foster care parents. And let me tell you, social workers are not paid enough for what they do. They're responsible for those kids, and it's a broken system. And in Texas, it's really bad in Texas. It's really bad in Texas. So yeah, somebody said it's sad we gotta have lousy parents die. Yeah, yeah. And y'all, let me say this. Thank God for the foster care system, because some children really do need to be taken out of bad households. They really, really do. They really do. They do. But some other kids, they don't want to follow the rules, period. And when you take those kids out of that house and they become a ward of the state, they could be in greater danger being a ward of the state than in the household of a parent. And so I think we just gotta look at those things really, really deep. It's almost like the abortion issue. People want to save the lives of the unborn, but they don't do nothing for the living. You want to cut out WIC, you want to cut out everything. So you want people to live, but not live abundantly. But you don't, you see what I'm saying? And again, it really bothers me that people who are against abortion will go all the way to China or some foreign country to adopt children in those countries. And we have American children looking for families, and they overlook that, but they be the first one to say that we don't believe in abortion, and then be the first ones to cut out a SNAP and WIC. And let's go a little further. Then they want the mama to work 15 jobs, but when the children are all out of hand, then it's their fault. But yet, you don't want to give them a heads up and a hand up to be able to take care of the kids. I mean, you can't have it both ways. Either the mama need to work and y'all need to provide adequate Head Start and daycare. So could we just pay for the parents' daycare? So when they got to work all of those jobs, they can take care of their kids, because baby daycare is expensive. See, it gets me that these people always crying about that, but they want to cut every program to help these parents out. I just find it very interesting. I find it very interesting. A lot of paperwork, Mia, and you better have the paperwork right, because you can find yourself in a lawsuit in court. So y'all, let me say this. I believe that people should work, but help these folk out. You can't say that these people are bad parents, but yet they got to work 2 and 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. And when you work in the jobs, who's taking care of the kids? This is where daycare comes in. Maybe we ought to have a voucher for a daycare, so when these parents have to work, or give them a job that pays living wages so they can be with their kids and work. It has to be a work-life balance. It's okay for the wealthy people to have a work-life balance, but if you poor, then you need to work until your hands fall off. I mean, I'm just being real. COVID gave us a good glimpse of the have and have-nots. And COVID really allowed people to know that anybody can get laid off and lose a job and be poor. See, we always think that people are poor because they want to be. No, people get laid off. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of homeless people are not homeless because they want to be homeless. They have mental illness. A lot of our homeless population served our country. What a way to treat the homeless. They done served the country, done fought in the wars, and again, they're homeless because they have mental illness or drug addiction. I'm just being real, y'all. I'm just being real. Well, Lynn, maybe if we pay some good wages, people wouldn't have to get pregnant to get the earned income. And if people are having kids to get paid, then that speaks a lot about how much we're paying people. Let me say this. There have been studies found that if you give people a basic income or pay them living wages, that this stuff stops. And it's not only black people. Again, I lived in Ohio. Middletown, Ohio was a blue ribbon community because AK Steel provided a lot of the jobs. But when AK Steel closed the plant to have capacity and they locked out their workers, baby, people start doing drugs, people start having kids. I'm just saying, pay people. If people are having children to get money, then that's saying that you may not be paying people enough. I'm just saying. Yeah, hey, I'm just saying. If people are having children to get money, that's a problem. But again, we got people taking foster kids for money. It ain't about the love and trying to develop these children. Some of these people take foster kids to get that money. And I want us to have the same energy with these foster care folk getting these foster children, not children, but children to get money. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm reading y'all comments. Let me say this, you all. Black and brown people are targeted because we're in the forefront. But let me say this: a lot of white people need WIC, and they use it more than black folk. But it's a slant to make black and brown people look like we are the only ones using it. I lived in Kansas, and there was more white people on welfare in Kansas, especially in the rural areas, than black people. So what it's telling me is that I don't care what your color. If you ain't part of the 1%, baby, it could happen to you. And we need to pay people living wages so people can live. Now, we get mad because when I mention basic income, well, you giving people something for nothing. No, I'm telling you, if you're working a minimum wage job, this may supplement your income so you can go on a vacation and feed your children and pay a mortgage. But we put these people under these slave wages. Well, y'all, it's a lot of things going on. What's going on with the fire department? Oh, Jesus. Oh, they checking these fire hydrants. Okay. Let me say this, you all. People only do better when they know better. We should be setting up programs like Head Start to give low and marginalized people a heads up on education. We should be doing parental classes. There are a lot of things. Nobody don't even address the food deserts. I mean, if you live in some neighborhoods, the only thing you have is a corner store. No fresh fruits or vegetables. And let me say this again, y'all, and I'm just saying how this world is set up. A mama who has limited income is going to do the dollar meal in the Burger Kings and the McDonald's because it's cheap food and it's affordable. But now to eat healthy is extremely expensive because now it's the thing. And we got food deserts. I'm just telling you, y'all. There's a system to everything. And I'm not the type of person who's thinking everybody is against us, but I do know that there are systems to keep people in the place that they're in. And if you don't think that there are systems, you're wrong. When COVID hit and people didn't have enough workers, and when they start paying over $15 an hour, I'm like, y'all could have done this long time ago. What it is people don't want to share the wealth. And I'm not talking about socialism, but one thing I can say about the Ford plants is when Henry Ford did his plants, when he started with the assembly line, he wanted to make sure that people could afford a house and the cars that they were making. Child, some of these people can't even afford the cars that they making unless you got a union because maybe they paying low wages for that. And I'm just being real. And I'm not, and I'm just being real. You know, yeah. And let me say this again, it's not important to you until it happens to you. And when I tell you AI is going to snatch a lot of people's jobs, and this is no conspiracy theory, I actually saw the guy who invented artificial intelligence, and he was saying that there needs to be some regulation because if we don't regulate AI, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And he was saying that there are going to be a lot of retail jobs taken away, a lot of jobs in the legal profession, because the AI can gather more information at a quicker time to help lawyers with their cases than paralegals. And those are good paying jobs. Pharmacists will be in trouble because AI can know what medicines are going to interact with other medicines before a human pharmacist. And a pharmacist's job pays very well. So I want you all to think about that. And this is why universal wages are so important, because when these people lose a job, what's going to happen when the computer's taking over? And see, what we don't realize is that these corporations don't care about you. They care about their profit. And they may have to pay a big sum to get AI, but the rate of investment is going to come back to them, because again, computers don't get pregnant. Computers don't ask for vacation. Computers don't steal, at least unless they're programmed to. They don't do that. They don't, you know. And so again, you're looking at the human. Computers don't need health insurance. You don't have to pay for vacation and sick time. Even programmers are in trouble. That's right, because computers will be able to program themselves. And they're smarter than humans. And that's what he was saying, that they can really be smarter than humans. We got to watch this kind of stuff. And this is not conspiracy theory. This is coming from the guy who invented AI. Oh, you saw the new RoboCop? Yeah, yeah. I mean, so y'all, look, Barry White, yeah. I was watching the Minority Report with Tom Cruise when Tom Cruise was doing the Minority Report, and that was another thing. That was another thing. It was just, yeah. Yeah. Let me say this, y'all. If you have gone to Chili's, you don't need that waiter. All you need for them is to bring your food out. You can pay for your stuff right there at the table. Right there at the table. Um, wow, see? Yeah, a lot of things are happening. And you know, this is why the actors are having issues, because now they're using artificial intelligence to do whole scenes. Who needs writers when Chat GPT can write a whole script for you from other resources and write a whole movie? I'm just saying. And that's what people are saying. Well, they're going to do good work for the humans and everything. The only reason why we don't have self-driving automobiles is because people got to figure out who's going to be liable. Okay? Because if I'm not driving the car, then I'm not liable. You see what I'm saying? If I'm driving the car, I'm not liable. So the lawyers are trying to figure that out right now. But baby, they will try to, who? You don't know? Yeah, yeah. So I think we really need to really be looking into the future, because the future is going to come on, but we need to really um, think about these things and see. We can talk about poor people now and everything. It's one thing when you kind of got options and got it together, but you know, in the future, you just don't know. And I really feel sorry for retail people, because I think retail people are going to get hit really hard. Vita said GPT has been my friend lately. I'm sure, girl. Yeah. Do you not know that most people are doing their stuff online? And again, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just want y'all to be. I mean, realizing that a lot of these speech writers are gonna be in trouble. Yeah. So I just bring that out there, you all, because we always talk about poor people and having kids and all of this stuff, and I think that there has to be some responsibility on the person's part, but I do think that we have to provide services for people to really help them out. Yeah, those 3D printers, let me tell you something, baby. Them 3D printers is no joke. And they're building houses. And again, you don't need a whole big construction crew too to do that. They are building a lot of those 3D houses in Austin, Texas right now. They are doing that right now. So those are my things. Smart Show says start investing. Do what you got to do. And I think these are some things we need to talk about. Don't get me wrong, y'all. The beef sector is what it is, right? But I think that we really need to talk about real life situations. Poor people are not poor because they want to be poor. There's a system. And I think education is important. Knowledge is power. And education is not always going to college. Education is having seminars and getting people to understand why it's so important. Like, people don't understand why voting is so important. We think that, oh, my vote is not going to count, but it does. And it proved it from that last election cycle, especially in the Warnock, and yeah, that Warnock and President Biden. It really showed that it's very important. This is why they're trying to gerrymander these voting districts, because people know that their power is waning and people doing everything to continue to hold power, and we got to realize that. Right, I might be gone before that. All right, Kimmy, that's correct. Now, flight attendants will always be flight attendants because you got to get people off the plane. Child, you got to get people off the train. But let me tell you something, baby. If flight attendants wasn't about safety, baby, they would charge you. Let me tell you something. Some of these airlines would charge you to store your bags. They would probably charge you to go to the bathroom. And I can see right now they would have vending machines, and you would go and get your food from that vending machine. And I'm serious, but because flight attendants got to evacuate that plane, that's the only reason why they have humans. And that's the truth. Do y'all not know that some of these pilots only landing and takeoff, and even with landing and takeoff, it's computer generated. Pilots just know how to work the computers, and they will use the hand, but for the pretty most part, autopilot does all the flying. So I just want y'all to know these things. Even not only are blue collar jobs and retail jobs are affected, but even some of our white collar jobs are going to be, especially in the legal profession, because paralegals, yeah, AI can generate stuff. I mean, y'all, we should have known this when we was watching Watson on Jeopardy, and Watson was whipping tail. Watson was whipping tail, baby, because Watson had all the information. And that should have been an eye opener right there when that computer was winning. So I'm just saying that, you all, it's just good to keep your eyes open, and I think it's really serious. So I know we were talking about this, but see, this is what I'm saying. There are systems, you all. There are systems to keep people poor, and this is what I don't get. And this is why racism is so bad, because racism is just another way to divide people, so we won't see what the uber wealthy are really doing. This is why I don't listen to people like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Baby, they got rich people problems. They are black in skin tone, but baby, it is about the money. And a lot of these people consider themselves global citizens. And I want y'all to check that, global citizens. That they mean that they're citizens of the world. They make their money any way they can. They don't have an alliance or allegiance to a country because they're global citizens. And I think we really need to realize that there are a few celebrities that are very down with the movement. Because baby Curtis Mayfield was spitting it. This is why I can rock with KRS-One. And because even though they were making money, they were calling out oppression. They were calling out stuff that was going on in the community. They were calling it out. And truth be told, the majority don't have the uber elite. They don't have a problem with people like that. See, they didn't have a problem with Martin Luther King with the civil rights. They didn't have a problem with Malcolm X. But when Malcolm X started talking about unity, when Martin Luther King started talking about the Poor People Campaign and trying to bring people together, that became a problem. That became a problem because now you're messing with our money. Now people are going to unify and see who we really are. Because if you're in your own compartments, we're fine with that. But where there's unity, there is strength. And if people unify and get beyond this color thing and realize that you all poor, whether you're black or white, you're poor. That GameStop situation should have been an eye-opener. When the average people start doing what the wealthy people do, and all of a sudden the wealthy people had an issue, and then the SEC wanted to shut it down because those wealthy people was losing money because the average people start making money. That should be a major wake-up call. I don't know if you all watched the great debaters with Denzel Washington. Wow. I don't know if y'all was watching the great debaters with Denzel Washington, but there was a scene where Denzel was trying to get the white pig farmers to work with the black pig farmers because he was saying, you white, but you still poor. And I never forget when the character and his son, this educated black man, killed that pig from that pig farmer. That pig farmer could not read, but he thought he was better than that man, and that man had to sit there. And the sad part about it is he was poor, just like the black pig farmers, but because of his color, he felt superior, but yet still poor. And there has to be a question of, okay, I'm white, but I'm poor. The only thing that's different with me is I'm white. And that's what Denzel Washington was trying to say. Y'all all poor and wonder why. Because this man has divided you all so they can. And let me say this again, because we don't know our history. And I think history repeats itself. And if we don't get it, people use it. People use it. And I'm going to go through history. White poor men were called yeomen. They got the bad piece of land. Even though they were free men and not slaves, they were considered lower class. And if you were not a part of the elite antebellum families, then you were not it. White wealth in the South always wanted to marry white wealth in the South. Because if your daddy owned timber and my daddy owned railroad, then that marriage unified us where we can work together. Because we all got a invested stake. Marriage was about business. It was not about love for the most part. Because antebellum wealthy white people did not want their daughters to marry a poor white man because you don't have anything to bring far as wealth. You are not expanding our wealth. Okay? So you married down. You did not marry up. And nothing has changed. Nothing has really changed. I'm just saying. Do you all not know that white men could not vote if you were not a landowner? Why do you think West Virginia became West Virginia? Because those poor white West Virginians got tired of those wealthy Virginians telling them what to do. Do you not know that they thought Thomas Jefferson was radical because he wanted poor white men to get an education, and they thought that was radical? So I want you all to know this country was always built on systems to oppress people to keep them back. I'm just saying. What's up, Uncle Claude? Uncle Claude, your volume, something going on with your volume. Uncle Claude, come back in and come back out, okay? Because something going on with your volume. So, okay, I hear you now, Uncle Claude. What's up? Uncle Claude, something going on with your volume. Come back in and come back out, Uncle Claude. Your volume. Come back in and come back out, Uncle Claude. Your volume messing up. Your volume messing up, Uncle Claude. He'll come back. No, let me say this, y'all, and it's not about race. Let me say this. Racism is a big part because racism is something that keeps people divided, us against them. They getting more than what we're getting, and it's all based on color. But classism is really another part of it. And classism is, I don't care if you black or white, you don't have the money that I have. And I want you to be in your place. But y'all don't understand, baby, if you look, marriage was not about love. Marriage was about business. So a Rockefeller would not have a problem marrying an Astor. An Astor would not have a problem marrying a Vanderbilt. A Vanderbilt would not have a problem marrying a Flagler or a Plant because these people had money. Plant and Flagler were railroad magnates. Okay, the Carnegies, they had, you see what I'm saying? These people had stuff. So when they married, it just increased their wealth. Why y'all think Ivanka married that Kushner boy? Because he had money. All of them had money. Why do you all think that everybody was looking down on this marriage with the royals? Because royals married royals to keep money. Period. You better believe they did. So all I'm saying is, you know, if you ain't 1%, folk ain't trying to do that. And I'm being real. And this is history. And if you don't know history, you're bound to repeat it. This is history. What's up, Uncle Clyde? And if you don't know history, you're bound to repeat it.
I tell you, StreamYard.
What's up, Uncle Clyde? And if you don't know history,
thank you for allowing me to come up.
it.
I tell you, this StreamYard, they need to be paying me.
It's
It's messed up.
So, Uncle Claude, you got feedback again.
And it's doing it again. I apologize.
Do you have another device on? So, Uncle
No, I
Claude, you got
don't actually.
feedback again.
I actually turned it off.
Do you have another device on? So, Uncle Claude, you got feedback. Close all your tabs, Uncle Clyde. They said you have a tab open. So close all your tabs. If you got any tabs open, yeah. They want to keep that generational wealth. That's what I'm saying, you all. Yeah, I mean, but again, I know people don't like this kind of talk. I mean, it's easy to roast and gag, but this is real stuff that we're going to be dealing with. So, I mean, we're talking about the foster care system, all of this again, you know, working people, they don't have the luxury of getting a nanny or having a nanny. All right. They got to work. It's just really interesting. I thought universal wage would have been really good. Let me tell you why universal wage is good too. And I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but it really insulted me when Congress, some people in Congress thought giving us $1,000 was too much money and we were going to make it rain with $1,000. Baby, people's mortgages are $2,000 a month. And you think people trying to make it rain? And here are people not working because their jobs are closed and they can't go work. And you all are fighting over giving people $1,000. Whereas if we would have had a universal wage, it wouldn't have even been an issue because people have been getting it already. It's just crazy. Then when it comes to healthcare, it never amazes me that people hate Obamacare, which is nothing but Romney care. And y'all don't get this now. Obama is not a dumb man. Romney proposed the exchanges when Hillary Clinton was trying to do single payer system, meaning that everybody had health care. All Obama was doing was using Romney care. And the Republicans rejected it, but I'm like, they were good when it was Romney care. And I want y'all to catch those things. Now, if the Republicans don't want people to have health care, and if they, then we need to get what they have. Again, it's easy to tell people what they should or should not have when you all have the best health care in the whole United States. So my thing is, if you're so concerned about the people, then let the people have what you got. I'm just saying. Exactly, Jasmine. And they act like people was gonna make it rain. And then what Trump gave to people was only to pay taxes. You had to pay taxes on that stuff. Child, y'all look, we got a lot of things coming down the pipe. We have ex-president that is corrupt, and now his people are turning on him and proving that he's corrupt. We have a president now who has good programs, but he's older, and it's not about ageism, but you can tell that, you know, he's older. But I would rather have him than the alternative. I'm serious. I know I'm not a Biden fan, but I would rather have him than the alternative. Lord knows. Because the alternative, baby, they would have us picking cotton and peas again. The alternative is much worse. And I think we really need to be paying attention to these races and what's going on. Now, we can't have our heads buried in the sand. We have to be politically active. Now, never go against your own interest. If you are a Republican and you own a whole lot and all of this stuff, but then that may be your interest. But if you somebody who working and may need a hand and you know you want to get your teeth fixed and stuff, you want to make sure you go on vacation, you better vote your conscience. You better vote your interest. What's up, Shelly? I authenticated you. What's going on?
Okay. No, I just wanted to say that I do really like these conversations, and I think these conversations are very important for us to have, because anybody can cuss, anybody can drag, anybody can dox. And sometimes you have to also be willing to separate yourself, because I don't know, like some people may make it seem like other conversations or other places are the place to be. But if you don't have this education, if you don't have this knowledge, if you don't have this wisdom, what will you give to your children? And when you talked about healthcare, that really struck something for me, because I mean, when I talk about just my medication alone is over $10,000 a month. So, you know, to me, $1,000 means nothing. It's more important that I have good health care. So that's just what I wanted to say. I'm gonna go back in the chat and finish listening.
Let me answer Eve. Eve, I don't have a problem with Republicans being in those seats, but Republicans have been obstructionists. I mean, when you will rather shut down a country and not pass the debt limit, you got a problem. And I see the Republicans right now as obstructionists. I see them as racist. I see them as, it seems like they're not really trying to help the people. And the good Republicans who were in the middle, who wanted to work or come with a compromise, are being drowned out by 8 people who want no compromise on nothing. And I don't think that's good for the country. I don't think that's good for the country. So if they're going to be obstructionists, then I'd rather not have them. No. I'm considering the totality of it. But if you're going to be an obstructionist, I don't want you for the country. And I think you really need to see what they're doing. When 8 people are running things, when you can't even get a Speaker of the House because these 8 people want it their way or no way, then that's a problem. That's not democratic. That is not. So I don't know what you're telling me to consider, but I'm seeing what people are doing, and I don't see compromise. I don't see people working together. I don't see people doing bills. And the sad part about it is the people who are the obstructionists ain't never wrote a bill. All they have been doing is throwing fire bombs and moving on out the way. So I don't think right now, I don't think the people are good with the Republican Party right now. I don't think they're good with the Republican Party, because it is not only for the Christian people. America is made up of all people. And if you're not representing all folk, then it's not American. And that's what democracy is about. When you're only catering to 30% of the population, then that's a problem. And so I don't think the Republican Party, I think they gave Donald Trump their party, and now they're suffering because they gave this man their party. And I don't have any confidence in them at all. I don't. Personally, I don't. You know, they don't want any health care, but they don't have a plan. They don't want to do this, but they don't have a plan. And you got to have a plan. So just being an obstructionist to be an obstructionist is not good. And what I'm saying is, let's go back to those 8 people. You got rid of your speaker without having a plan. That doesn't look good. So I don't have confidence in the Republican Party. I miss Republicans like John McCain. I'm not a John McCain fan, but honey, John McCain went against his party because he said country over party. And I'm seeing more party over country. And when you put your party before country, that is a problem. Because if the Democrats started doing something, I'm gonna speak on it. Party is not before country. Country has to be before party. When you don't even understand. So let me go to this Ukraine thing. I know a lot of people are saying, well, we got people over here. I don't see why we helping Ukraine, because we got NATO countries. And if you think war is expensive, you let Russia expand into Ukraine and be next to those Baltic nations, like, and be next to Norway and Denmark and all of those countries. You think you got a problem now. So I understand why Ukraine has to not fail. Now, y'all may not understand it, but we have a NATO agreement. And if a NATO country gets attacked, per that agreement, we are obligated. And so this is why it's so important. I just think it's funny with the Israel thing. And let me say this. I think that Israel needs to be a sovereign nation. But baby, you cannot have an apartheid state and think that people ain't gonna fight back. Because you got over a million Palestinians on a strip no bigger than Rhode Island. And we know when people are cramped up like animals, there's going to be retaliation. And I think we really need to look at that. And I'm going to say this again. Every place where Great Britain has been a powder keg. Palestine and Israel. You see how they left that? You see how they left India? This is why Pakistan and India fights. They left Hong Kong. Now you got the people in Hong Kong and China fighting. Wherever the British people have left, it has always left it tattered and torn. And y'all really need to look into that history. Because these people were living side by side in unity. We never talk about that there are some Jewish people right now who felt that the Jewish people should live amongst the people. And this is, I'm making some people mad. This is what really made me mad about the nation of Israel. Israel had to be called out because they only wanted the Eastern European Jews to live in Israel. But if you're going to call all Jews, that means you have to get the Jews from Africa. You have to get the Jews from the Middle East. When you say Jewish people, it's Jewish people from around the world. And they tried to reject those African Jews. And that bothered me because, again, if you're going to have a Jewish state, you got to have all the Jewish people, not the European Jewish people. And nobody wants to talk about that either. And that gets deep. And I'm not anti-Semitic, but I'm real. I'm history. I am history. And so, a lot of the Eastern European Jews, after Hitler and after all of that situation, they felt very nervous. They felt all of this because the Jews have always been oppressed people. And I know that for a fact. They have been. But it can't only be Eastern European Jewish people. If you're going to have a state, it had to be for everyone. And that really turned me off when they did not want those darker non-Eastern European Jews to be in Israel. So I just bring that on out. Somebody said, Jay Wilson, how do you feel about the biblical relationship to this conflict? What about Israel's religious claim to that land? Well, who is the true Israel? Who's the true? Again, a lot of, anyway, it gets real complicated. It gets real complicated. Let me say this, you all. Some scholars believe that Israel is not an ethnic group, but Israel is a people. And again, you got that group called Israel and New Breed. So a lot of people will look at that. So now let me say this. Now, this is what scholars say, and this is a religious debate. So a lot of religious people really debate this. Some conservative religious people believe that the Jewish people, period, are God's chosen no matter what. But then you have some religious scholars will say, well, is God coming back for a people, or he coming back for people who have accepted him? who is God coming back for? Is he coming back from an ethnic group, or is he coming back for those who have a heart? So you even have Paul saying that we are the circumcision, we believe in God in the spirit, we rejoice in Christ Jesus, and have no confidence in the flesh. So my thing is, Paul was telling the Jewish people that circumcision is not about the foreskin anymore, because they were trying to make Gentiles get circumcised. But Paul was like, no, we're circumcised of the heart. That's a Jewish thing. That's not a Jesus thing. That's a Jewish thing. So you look at those things. So is God coming back for the circumcision of the foreskin or the circumcision of the heart? And those are some questions that people are fighting over right now. I'm not saying that the Democratic Party is without fault, but right now I feel more confident with them than the Republican parties, because I see the Democratic Party as unified at this particular point, and I see the Republican Party in a civil war. And I'm not saying that the Democratic Party is without fault, but I'm saying I see one party that's unified and one party is talking things that I like to hear. And I hear another party talking about stuff that I heard in the 50s and 60s during the civil rights era, and that's it. So I don't think any of them perfect, but I'm going to go with the one that's going to best suit me. That's all. Israel, after this, is going to get rid of its current government. I believe they went too far right before Gaza. I'm reading y'all. So again, it depends, because some scholars believe that this Israel that's fighting right now, but then some people believe differently. So it is what it is, you all. But I think that these are things that we need to talk about, because everybody in Palestine ain't wrong. Everybody is not Hamas or the PLO. Some of these people are innocent people. So ain't my war. Ain't my war, but I'm looking at it. Now, I do believe that Israel has a right to exist. There are some people who do not want Israel to have a nation and exist, and I get that. But again, it gets really, really deep. And I think a two-state solution would be helpful, but again, everybody's not there. And this is going to be an ongoing thing. I really think a two-state solution would be best, but we'll see. We will see. S. Hutchinson, you have anything that you like to add before I end? Because I'm getting ready to go, and we gotta go and eat our lunch and brunch.
No, I was challenged yesterday on your page to come up with a receipt, and surely I took the time to find that receipt, and I'll probably be playing that tomorrow. That's it.
A receipt of what? What's going on?
Yesterday when the person was saying what they did and didn't say to me and all this other stuff, and I was like, it happened on Jay Wilson's platform.
Oh yes.
So yeah,
yes.
I just have to do some editing and put it all together. So I probably drop that tomorrow.
Let me say this. I go back to Natasha Milan. I'm not trying to pit transgender people against each other. All I was saying is that, because Natasha Milan even has some people who have transphobia against her. But Natasha Milan, I never seen Natasha Milan dox anybody. Natasha Milan has thrown shade and some, she's done that. But Natasha Milan does not get that flack and heat like you do.
Because Natasha not behind the scenes doing all kind of crazy stuff either. At least I never heard about it.
Yeah. So my thing is, we're not trying to pit trans people against each other. It's not because you are trans. It's because of your actions. It's because of your actions. And so a lot of people don't like your doxing. A lot of people do not like your porn bombing, and they don't like that about you. And unfortunately, because you are trans and the abuse sector gonna do everything to really make you feel it and hurt your feelings, they do it. And since you're sensitive to that, they're going to even pile on more, because when they find that you're sensitive to something, or you're weak, or something really hurts you, they pile on, because their whole job is to hurt you. So they're gonna call you all of those derogatory names. But it's not, I don't think it's because you're trans. I think that it's because of your actions. Because
Yeah,
if you want to be that way, because you know, people always, when they get mad, they always blaming the gays. But again, with that, I know what it is, I know what it gives, and people know what it gives, and we keep on moving. But you know, because I never had a problem with you. But you working behind the scenes, you done had a problem with Shelly, you done had a problem with Spillet Boy, you done had a problem with King Roman. I mean, you know, it's all of these people. The official D Spot, I mean, Triple Red X, now Brianna, you're having a problem with all of these people. And it's like, well, you having problems with these people.
I think she does stuff to try to impress other people.
Yeah,
I'm not giving her an excuse, but I think she's doing it to like gain favor with other people. That's how I took it, because I don't know this person.
Yeah, and so I think that, you know, it's easy to run to the trans thing. But I look at Natasha Milan because she's trans and she's in the space in the beef sector, but she don't have all of this. So that's it. But Shelly, do what you gotta do.
I'll probably have it together by tomorrow. But thank you for having me. I hit the link because it works. Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Well, look, y'all, I'm gone, and y'all just remember what we said. It's okay to beef and stuff, but we there's a real world with real issues that's gonna adversely affect us if we don't start focusing on some things and prepare ourselves. And so, as much as I like to roast and gag, I'm serious about world events and seeing what's going on in the world. I do believe that we need to work on some gun control reforms. I'm tired of seeing people taking people's lives. I do believe you should have background checks. I believe that there should be a cooling off period. I believe in those things. I do not think we should have semi-automatic or automatic weapons. It should be an automatic weapons ban. Now, I'm not saying taking away guns. If you hunt or if you have a pistol for protection, by all means. But unless you are in the military, you shouldn't have access to a semi-automatic or automatic weapon. You're not going to hunt because that's going to destroy the meat. Those guns are to take out people in a vast number, a mass amount of people. And I don't think that we should have that. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't have a right to bear arms, but when you can shoot all of these rounds within seconds and take out human lives, no. And I believe we need to talk about that as well. So those are my thoughts. Well, look, y'all, take care, peace and love. I'll talk to y'all later.